Hey there, future doctors. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of body fluids, those watery highways that course through us, keeping us alive and kicking. From the blood that pulses through our veins to the lymph that quietly defends us, these fluids are more than just water. They are complex solutions carrying a whole bunch of stuff that our bodies need to survive. So, what exactly are body fluids? Simply put, they are all the liquids that exist within our bodies. This includes blood, lymph, cerebrospinal fluid, saliva, tears, sweat, urine, and a whole lot more. These fluids are not just hanging out taking up space. They play crucial roles in pretty much every bodily function. Think of your body as a bustling city. Body fluids are like the transportation system, the communication lines, and the waste management all rolled into one. They deliver nutrients, remove waste, regulate temperature, and even help defend us against invaders. In the next few sections, we'll explore the amazing world of body fluids in more detail. Get ready to be amazed. Hold on to your hats, folks, because here's a fun fact. The amount of fluid in our bodies actually changes as we age. Babies are practically water balloons, with around 75% of their body weight made up of fluids. This high water content is super important for their rapid growth and development. As we grow older, our fluid percentage gradually decreases. A healthy adult male will typically have around 60% body fluid, while a healthy adult female will have slightly less, around 55%. This difference is mainly due to women generally having a higher percentage of body fat, which contains less water than muscle tissue. As we reach our golden years, the fluid percentage continues to decline, with elderly individuals having around 50% body fluid. This decrease can make the elderly more susceptible to dehydration and other fluid imbalances. It's like the difference between a juicy grape and a wrinkly raisin. Keep that image in mind. It's a good reminder to stay hydrated. Now let's talk about a really important concept: homeostasis. This fancy word basically means keeping things stable, and it's something our bodies are really good at. Think of it like this. Your body wants to be in a constant state of just right, like Goldilocks and her porridge. Not too hot, not too cold, but just right. Body fluids play a vital role in maintaining this delicate balance. They help regulate our internal temperature, ensuring our enzymes and cells are working at their best. They also help maintain the right balance of electrolytes, those tiny charged particles that are essential for nerve and muscle function. But it's not just about keeping things level. Body fluids also help us adapt to changes in our environment. When we exercise, for example, our muscles produce heat. To prevent overheating, our bodies sweat, and the evaporation of sweat helps cool us down. This clever system is all thanks to the amazing properties of body fluids. Body fluids are like the delivery service and waste management of our internal city. They transport nutrients, oxygen, and hormones to the cells that need them, ensuring everything runs smoothly. Think of the circulatory system as a network of highways and byways, with blood acting as the delivery trucks, carrying vital supplies to every corner of our body. But it's not just about delivering the good stuff. Body fluids also play a crucial role in removing waste products, like carbon dioxide and metabolic byproducts from our cells. These waste products are then transported to the lungs, kidneys, and liver for elimination from the body. And let's not forget about metabolism. Body fluids provide the aqueous environment necessary for all the chemical reactions that occur within our cells. These reactions are what keep us alive and functioning, from digesting our food to thinking our thoughts. Ever wondered why staying hydrated is so important? Well, besides the whole not dying of thirst thing, body fluids play a crucial role in maintaining the texture and turgidity of our tissues. Think of a plant that hasn't been watered. It wilts, becomes droopy, and loses its structural integrity. Our bodies are pretty similar. Water is a key component of our cells, and it helps maintain their shape and function. When we're dehydrated, our cells shrink, and this can affect everything from our skin's elasticity to the function of our organs. So drink your water, folks. And remember that cool trick with sweating? Well, that's another example of how body fluids help regulate our temperature. Water has a high heat capacity, meaning it can absorb a lot of heat without a significant change in temperature. This property is what allows our bodies to maintain a relatively stable internal temperature, even when the outside world is trying to turn us into popsicles or baked potatoes. Okay, time to get a little more technical. You might be surprised to learn that the fluids in our bodies are not all just sloshing around together. Instead, they're organized into different compartments, each with its own specific role to play. The two main compartments are intracellular fluid, ICF. This is the fluid found inside our cells, and it makes up about 2/3 of our total body water. It's where all the important cellular processes take place. Extracellular fluid, ECF. This is the fluid found outside our cells, and it makes up about 1/3 of our total body water. The ECF can be further divided into interstitial fluid. This is the fluid that surrounds our cells and tissues. Plasma. This is the liquid component of our blood. These compartments are separated by semi-permeable membranes which act like gatekeepers, controlling what can and cannot pass between them. This careful regulation is essential for maintaining the right balance of electrolytes and other substances in each compartment. So, what exactly are these body fluids made of? Well, besides water, which is the main ingredient, they also contain a whole bunch of other stuff, both organic and inorganic. Let's start with the inorganic stuff. These are things like electrolytes, which we've already touched upon. The most abundant electrolytes in our body fluids are sodium, potassium, chloride, calcium, and magnesium. These little guys are essential for a wide range of functions, including nerve transmission, muscle contraction, and maintaining fluid balance. Now, onto the organic molecules. These are the building blocks of life, and they include things like proteins, carbohydrates, lipids, and nucleic acids. These molecules play vital roles in everything from transporting oxygen in our blood, thanks hemoglobin, to providing energy for our cells, looking at you, glucose. The exact composition of our body fluids can vary depending on a number of factors, including our age, sex, diet, and overall health. Now let's talk about how we actually measure these elusive body fluids. One common method is the Indicator Dilution Method. It's like a magic trick, but with science. Here's the gist. We inject a known amount of an indicator substance into the bloodstream. This substance should be something that doesn't readily cross cell membranes and is evenly distributed throughout the compartment we want to measure. We then take a blood sample and measure the concentration of the indicator. By comparing the initial amount injected with the final concentration in the blood, we can calculate the volume of the fluid compartment. The formula for this is pretty straightforward. Volume of distribution equals amount of indicator injected divided by concentration of indicator in plasma. It's like figuring out the size of a swimming pool by adding a teaspoon of dye and seeing how much the water changes color. Pretty cool, right? Using the indicator dilution method along with other techniques, we can measure the volume of various fluid compartments in the body. For example, to measure total body water, we use an indicator that can diffuse across all cell membranes, such as heavy water, D2O. To measure extracellular fluid volume, we use an indicator that can't cross cell membranes, but can diffuse into the interstitial space, like inulin or radioactive sodium. Plasma volume can be measured using a dye that binds to plasma proteins, such as Evans blue. Finally, we can calculate intracellular fluid volume indirectly by subtracting extracellular fluid volume from total body water. It's like solving a puzzle, but instead of pieces, we're using fluids. So there you have it. A crash course on body fluids. We've covered a lot of ground, but this is just the tip of the iceberg, or should I say the tip of the pipette. I encourage you to dive deeper into this fascinating subject and continue exploring the amazing world of human physiology. Keep those brains hydrated and happy studying.